10 stores island-wide. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 32 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Integrity Commission is denying leaking information to the press in growing controversy related to reports submitted to Parliament.
Political analysts say leaks to the media are an inevitable feature of a healthy democracy.
In any democracy where there's a thriving press and that is operated with a certain amount of freedom, we're going to have leaks.
And former PNP General Secretary says demonizing the Integrity Commission before the reports are tabled in Parliament could be premature.
I think it is dangerous to say we should go ahead and pronounce a judgment on the Integrity Commission. I think we have to await the tabling of the report.
Jamaica to send 24 military and police personnel to Haiti as part of a multinational force.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness announces the formation of a committee to strengthen the country's disaster response.
In news from the rest of the world, 2 prisoners injured during Guyana prison fire.
Harris and Trump to face off in first presidential debate tonight.
In headline sports, unchanged Jamaica team to take the field tonight against Honduras in Nations League action.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, 24 Jamaicans are being sent into an extremely volatile situation in Haiti. What are their odds of success? We'll hear from Caribbean correspondent at the Miami Herald, Jacqueline Charles, and crime and security expert Professor Anthony Clayton.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to the absence of an ambulance on the grounds of Sangster International Airport? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections is raising concern about the practice of prime ministers setting arbitrary dates for by-elections. Director at CAFE, Dr. Lloyd Barnett, will join us.
At 7, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight we'll be discussing back-to-school herbs.
And from 7:45, we'll bring you coverage of the U.S. presidential debate. We'll have all these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, September 10, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by the new Crunchy Box from KFC. A piece of delicious chicken, 2 hot wings, a biscuit, and Pepsi for only $850. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The Integrity Commission is denying that it divulged information about reports recently submitted to the House of Representatives for tabling. In a statement on Tuesday, the Commission issued a reminder that it's illegal to report or make public statements on investigation reports that have not yet been tabled. The statement follows revelations by both Nationwide News and the Jamaica Observer, which have been reporting on issues linked to investigations conducted by the Anti-Corruption Agency. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Last week, Thursday, Nationwide News disclosed that reports the Integrity Commission sent to Parliament were related to an investigation into the Prime Minister's statutory declarations, which have not been certified for 3 years. By Monday, details emerged that the failure to certify the declarations were related to 4 bank accounts in the names of the Prime Minister's parents and a former constituency office manager. The following day, the Jamaica Observer newspaper dropped its own investigative piece, alleging that the Integrity Commission was probing 8 politicians for corruption. The 8 include 5 from the PNP and 3 from the JLP. Opposition leader Mark Golding was swift in slamming the Observer report, saying the reference concerning PNP politicians was concocted.
Malicious stories may have been concocted and sent to the Integrity Commission for partisan political reasons without any foundation whatsoever. I want the public to note that this reporting by the Jamaica Observer is entirely separate from the 8 sitting members of Parliament cited by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. The allegations reported by the Observer article are not part of the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission into the 8 MPs who are accused of illicit enrichment. In my view, this is a blatant attempt to confuse and mislead the public.
Amid the brewing controversy, Chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Seymour Panton, addressed the reporting on the investigation report submitted to Parliament. He acknowledged the extensive public chatter about purported contents of the report and stated that the submitted reports have yet to be tabled in Parliament. The Commission says Section 53 of its enabling legislation strictly prohibits public discussion of untabled reports. He stresses that no statements of disclosures regarding the start or conduct of an investigation can be made by the Commission or any other entity until the reports are officially presented to Parliament. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has expressed concern over the leaked information and says he is anxious to have the documents tabled.
I'm concerned about leaks, very much so. Concerned to the point where members of the opposition could say with definitive certainty when the report was going to be tabled and what was the content of the report. I am very concerned, and that was even before the report reached Parliament.
The Integrity Commission, while under fire, insists it remains dedicated to factual reporting and has no vested interests. It also affirms its strict adherence to the law and says it would never breach legal guidelines to satisfy any agenda. In Tuesday's statement, the Commission pledged its commitment to transparency and the rule of law. It urges the public to await the formal tabling of all reports, including the one at the center of the controversy. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, 2 leading political commentators, Lloyd B. Smith and Dr. Nadine Spence, say leaks to the media in a functioning democracy are inevitable. They were reacting to the controversy over the media's reporting details from an investigation submitted to Parliament by the Integrity Commission. Dana Davey reports.
The Integrity Commission has warned members of the public and media houses that reporting from untabled reports is a breach of the Integrity Commission Act. The Seymour Panton-chaired commission says Section 53 of its enabling legislation strictly prohibits public discussion of untabled reports. Nationwide News reported on aspects of one of the commission's recent reports, which is awaiting tabling in the Parliament. Editor-in-chief of the Western Mirror, Lloyd B. Smith, says leaks to the media are an inevitable feature of a functioning democracy.
In any democracy where there's a thriving press that operates with a certain amount of freedom, we're going to have leaks. And we're also going to have opposition parties that will want to take advantage of situations to get mileage. And this is what has been playing out.
Political commentator Dr. Nadine Spence agrees. She says in this instance, regarding the most recent report from the Integrity Commission, the media's reporting has advanced the issue.
Yeah, because the media has a role to play, and sometimes the media's leak can help to move the matter in a more positive direction.
Well, in this case, this leak is the one that is helping us to add clarity to what has been a very confusing situation.
Yes.
You know?
It's likely that the submitted Integrity Commission reports will be tabled in Parliament when it resumes sittings after its summer break. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
And former PNP General Secretary Colin Campbell is cautioning against putting the Integrity Commission on the chopping block before the tabling of the full report in Parliament next Tuesday. Concerns have been raised about the actions of the anti-corruption watchdog surrounding the uncertified statutory declarations of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Mr. Campbell says criticisms concerning the handling of the issue should only come once the full report has been tabled.
I really believe that if we are going to have a discussion on the performance of the Integrity Commission and whether it is useful in its present form or whether they have done things to assassinate their own character, is something that we can only proceed with once we have read the entire report. But I think it is dangerous to say that the report which has been leaked, not in totality, but perhaps in a very small part, that we should go ahead and pronounce a judgment on the Integrity Commission. I think we have to await the tabling of the report. We have to read and digest it, and we can see whether the Integrity Commission is guilty.
It's understood the 3-year-long probe into Mr. Holness's uncertified declarations involve 4 bank accounts. Those accounts belong to his parents and a former constituency office manager. The 4 accounts had a total of 384,000 Jamaican dollars. According to Mr. Campbell, the Integrity Commission's blunder was submitting the report to Parliament 2 weeks before it reopens.
If it is that this entire 3 years has been about 4 accounts with balances of $384,000, I think if we had an Integrity Commission that pursued such an investigation over 3 years, then that commission would have no use to the people of Jamaica. I think the IC has made errors, and it is not only errors that are contingent upon the law itself, but it has made strategic errors. For example, sending a report to Parliament 2 weeks ahead of the reopening of Parliament is to beg somebody there to leak it, because information does not stand still. I believe we know when the Parliament was going to be reconvened on the 17th, you send it in good time for the tabling on the 17th.
Colin Campbell, former General Secretary of the People's National Party.
Jamaica will be sending 24 military and police personnel to Haiti as part of a multinational force. This was confirmed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness during a post-cabinet media briefing at his office on Tuesday morning.
In March 2024, with the support of the United States and Canada, Jamaica brought other CARICOM personnel together, along with our own forces, to begin training for deployment to Haiti. So as Minister of Defense, today we announce that Jamaica will begin its participation in the multinational security support mission with the deployment of 24 personnel to Haiti to provide command, planning, and logistics support.
Last January, Prime Minister Holness expressed the government's willingness to deploy troops to help with the restoration of law and order in crisis-torn Haiti. Of the group, 20 members are from the Jamaica Defense Force. The remaining 4 are members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Prime Minister Holness says the country is prepared to send more personnel if needed.
The deployment is comprised of 20 JDF personnel and 4 JCF personnel. The security forces continue in a state of readiness to support further deployment towards our overall commitment as the mission in Haiti is scaled up. Jamaica has close fraternal ties to the people of Haiti, and we stand in solidarity with them. Jamaica also has a national security interest in the situation in Haiti, one of our closest neighbors.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says the ongoing turmoil in Haiti is an example of how violence can overtake countries if they fail to rein in gangs.
Here in Jamaica, we see the growing entrenchment of gangs who organize the production of armed violence with a view to economic gain. We see this as an evolving existential threat to law and order and the proper functioning of institutions of the state, not only in Jamaica, but in several countries across the region. It is a regional problem. Haiti is the example of what could happen if states and governments do not take the problem seriously and put in place the measures and resources necessary to bring the problem under control.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rent-A-Kill Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification, and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rent-A-Kill is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 32 out west in Montego Bay.
Continuing the news. The parish of Manchester has been rocked by a surge of violence resulting in the deaths of 5 people in a single week. The latest incident occurred last Monday night in Knockpatrick. Robian Williams chronicles a series of shootings in the parish.
The bloodletting in Manchester continues. The latest victim, 46-year-old Kevin Brown, was gunned down at a bar in the district of Green Street in Knockpatrick. Reports are that about 10 Monday night, Brown was among a group of people when armed assailants opened gunfire at them. When the shooting subsided, 3 people, including Brown, were found with gunshot injuries. Brown was pronounced dead at hospital. It was a similar incident at a bar in Bottom Albion last Tuesday where 2 men were shot and killed. Dead are 29-year-old Kalu Stultz, otherwise called Rasta, a resident of Albion, and 44-year-old Henry Brown, otherwise called Iceman, a resident of Barnstable. Reports are that a gunman entered the bar and opened fire around 9:20 p.m. The gunman reportedly stole a bag containing $100,000 before escaping on foot. The following day in Christiana, 27-year-old farmer Romario White was shot and killed at a bar. 2 men reportedly entered the bar. One opened fire, striking White in the upper body. 2 days later, there was another murder scene in Christiana. A man, 27-year-old Cuthbert Lambert, otherwise called Jerome, was shot and killed at a school gate. Lambert had just dropped off his stepdaughter at Christiana Moravian Primary School. Data published by the police indicate that up to September 7, Manchester recorded 37 murders since the start of the year. That's 8 more people dead when compared to the corresponding period in 2023. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced the formation of a technical committee to strengthen Jamaica's response to disasters. It's called the Disaster Risk Management Review Committee, the DRMRC. It's to be headed by former Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
Prime Minister Holness made the announcement at the post-cabinet media briefing at his office on Tuesday morning. He says the committee was formed in response to the rising threat of crises brought on by severe weather events and natural hazards.
In response to these challenges of high frequency, high intensity, and overlapping crises, the government established the Disaster Risk Management Review Committee. This committee is tasked with strengthening Jamaica's preparedness for disasters and ensuring that we are ready to meet future crises head-on. The DRMRC, that is the Disaster Risk Management Review Committee, will focus on critical areas such as infrastructure resilience, essential services like water, electricity, and telecommunications, as well as medical services and community preparedness.
The DRMRC is headed by former Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson.
The DRMRC is led by Major General Anthony Anderson, a public servant with decades of experience in disaster management and national security. The committee also includes Dr. Paris Leahy, Jr., a leader in geospatial technology. It includes Mr. Jonathan Grant, a retired senior public official in the Ministry of Finance, I believe, and Ms. Trudy Deans, a consultant who has been instrumental in initiatives such as the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission. Together, this team brings a wealth of expertise and experience and will guide our efforts to build a more resilient Jamaica.
Prime Minister Holness says among the committee's responsibilities will be evaluating the resilience of key infrastructure. The DRMRC will also assess the effectiveness of the country's emergency responders.
DRMRC's mandate is to, 1, assess vulnerabilities in critical infrastructure and services to ensure they remain operational, even during disaster events. Water supply systems, electricity grids, telecommunications networks, and transportation routes. The focus will be on ensuring that these essential services are designed, maintained, and upgraded to withstand the impact of hurricanes, floods, and other disaster events. Secondly, the committee will evaluate emergency services to ensure they are equipped to respond quickly and efficiently to crises. And three, to provide recommendations for improving national and local disaster response frameworks, ensuring better coordination.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
2 prisoners were injured in a fire at Georgetown Prison on Monday when a fellow prisoner set a fire to a mattress. A report in Caribbean News Weekly says the Guyana Prison Service revealed that inmate Delon Blake allegedly lit his mattress in his cell of the security block of the prison. Blake is said to be of unsound mind and is serving a 20-year sentence for rape. Blake and another inmate, Christopher Stanley, who is also said to be of unsound mind, were immediately taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital for medical treatment. The officer in charge of the Georgetown prison, Senior Superintendent Olivia Cox, said the situation was quickly brought under control by the officers who were on duty.
Republican Donald Trump and Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris are set to meet for the first time tonight in their only scheduled debate of the U.S. presidential campaign. The nationally televised debate is to begin at 8 Jamaica time. It takes place just 8 weeks before the November 5 election and days before early voting will start in some states. According to Reuters, former President Trump says he will contrast the left-leaning policies Harris proposed in her failed 2020 presidential bid with the more centrist positions she has now staked. Harris, meanwhile, has indicated that she will draw attention to Trump's habit of lying. The vice president's campaign advisors say Harris will also talk about her plans to lower Americans' daily expenses.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Integrity Commission has denied leaking information to the press in growing controversy related to reports submitted to Parliament.
Political analysts say leaks to the media are an inevitable feature of a healthy democracy.
In any democracy where there's a thriving press that operates with a certain amount of freedom, we are going to have leaks.
And former PNP General Secretary Colin Campbell says demonizing the Integrity Commission before the reports are tabled in Parliament could be premature.
I think it is dangerous to say we should go ahead and pronounce a judgment on the Integrity Commission. I think we have to await the tabling of the report.
Jamaica to send 24 military and police personnel to Haiti as part of a multinational force.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robeanne Williams.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by the new Crunchy Box from KFC. A piece of delicious chicken, 2 hot wings, biscuit, and a Pepsi for just $850. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Drive Hyundai. Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 4.99% interest rate. Yes! Shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 4.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 4.99%. Conditions apply.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Hello, very good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica is set to go in with the same 11 that played against Cuba when they face Honduras in a CONCACAF Nations League encounter in Tegucigalpa tonight at 9 o'clock Jamaica time. Jamaica were held to a goalless draw by Cuba at the National Stadium 5 nights ago, with Cuba playing with 10 players from midway the first half. However, coach Steve McLaren will keep faith with the 11 which took the field to face the Hondurans, who will come into tonight's match on the back of a 5-match unbeaten run. Honduras blanked Trinidad and Tobago 4-0. McLaren says despite their opponent's good form, they are going in for all 3 points tonight.
I think very difficult games. As I said, I think from the years that Jamaica played them, they've progressed very well. And they are a better team now than they were a year ago. Results show that. But we take one game at a time. And we take as the next one, the most important one. And the one in which we, for every game, we plan to win. We prepare to win. We don't prepare to lose or to draw. We prepare, how can we beat Honduras? So that's what we have to do, and hopefully the performance will get the result.
National Senior Football Team coach Steve McLaren, we apologize for the quality of that insert. And now for some latest scores in Manning under Costa Cup football action. Jamaica College, they were holding a 3-0 lead over Pembroke Hall. St. Catherine High School, seen by many people as the favourites for the Manning Cup, where they gained 3 points and a 3-goal victory margin for their game against Norman Melanie. The game was not played because of an unprepared field at Maxfield Park. We were told that they started marking the field around about 2:45 when the rains came and put pay to that. St. George's College were leading Holy Trinity by 2-0. In the Costa Cup Rossies held a 3-1 lead over Cambridge High. Lennon trailed Central High School by 4-0. Kempsey leads Old Harbour 5-0. Dintil are leading Tatius Golden, listen this, by 10-0. Jade Lynch has given St. Elizabeth Technical a 1-0 lead over Magotty. Ferncourt and the Butnut Gallimore were 1-1. William Nib, they lead Mushet by 2-0. Christian and Alphonsus Davis were goalless, and McGrath were leading Charlemont 1-0 again. These are just latest scores. Captain Harry Kane scored twice on the occasion of his 100th appearance for England as the Three Lions beat Finland by 2-0 at Wembley tonight in the Euro Nations League. Kane scored in the 57th minute to give the host the lead. He returned 19 minutes later to complete his brace for England to go join top of Group 2 in League B.
Here's Kane again! Finally, England have the breakthrough against Finland, and it's another golden moment for the man with the golden cap, the golden boots, and the Midas touch. By the way, Kane. Harry Kane again. They just burst into life, and he just burst the net. He is an all-time great.
What they say about Harry Kane? Whatever he touches turns to goals. Now, Greece, they're ahead of England on goal difference in the group after they beat the Republic of Ireland by 2-0 at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. It was Ireland's second defeat in 4 days under new head coach Heimer Hallgrimsson. Remember him? In other games, Germany came from behind to earn a 2-2 draw with the Netherlands, and Czechia, formerly the Czech Republic, they outscored the Ukraine by 3-2. Former U.S. Prince star Justin Gatlin and up-and-coming runner Erin Brown say the comparisons between Usain Bolt and young athletes need to stop immediately. Goat of Australia, the USA's Arian Knighton, and Botswana's Letsile Tebogo are a few of the athletes that have been labelled as Bolt's successors. At the 2009 World Athletics Championships in the German capital Berlin, Bolt set the 100 and 200 meters world records. They stand to this day. Bolt was 22 years old for both of those races, with his marks of 9.58 and 19.19 achieved in the days leading up to his 23rd birthday. Since then, nobody has been able to match the fastest times in history as Bolt's legend grows stronger by the year. However, speaking on Ready, Set, Go, 2004 Olympic champion over 100 meters Gatlin says track and field world should allow these athletes to define their own path.
Stop putting these young athletes on a path that comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of pressure. Let them go out there and develop themselves. If anything, let him say, no, I'm gout, bro. I'm about to be different. You know what I'm saying? I'm Taboho. I'm about to be different. I understand that you want to give them measure and say, man, you're going to be great just like this individual, but don't tell them the way their path is going to go. Like, let this man figure out how he want to be successful. Let the man do what he want to do.
So that was Justin Gatlin. And later on, in our next sportscast at 6:05, you're going to hear what Erin Brown has to say about the issue. But we'll leave it there for now. And as I mentioned, we come back at 6:05 with more.
Can you imagine getting a marketable skill for free? Your government has made it possible for anyone wanting to learn a skill to get free training through the Heart and STA Trust. Learn a new skill and expand your horizons.
The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:31.
Does your bra ride up your back? Do your shoulders hurt from carrying the weight of your breasts? These are signs of an ill-fitting bra. When was the last time you were fitted by a bra fit specialist? The bra experts at LaBelle Femme will take care of you. Drop into the store at 53 Lady Musgrave Road, Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 to 5, and you will see the difference. Or call 876-622-6091.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Drive Hyundai. Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 4.99% interest rate. Yes! Shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 4.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 4.99%. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Sir Cliff. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm good. Looking forward to later tonight, a big night.
Yes.
In the U.S. presidential election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Beginning at 8 tonight, the two will go head-to-head for 90 minutes in a debate that could very well determine which of them make it to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in November.
Yeah, that's for later tonight. We start, though, in the region because Jamaica will be sending 24 military and police personnel to Haiti as part of a multinational force. This was confirmed by the Prime Minister during a post-cabinet media briefing at his office this morning.
In March 2024, with the support of the United States and Canada, Jamaica brought other CARICOM personnel together, along with our own forces, to begin training for deployment to Haiti. So as Minister of Defense, today we announce that Jamaica will begin its participation in the multinational security support mission with the deployment of 24 personnel to Haiti to provide command, planning, and logistics support.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Last January, he expressed his administration's willingness to deploy troops to help with the restoration of law and order in Haiti. Of the group, 20 members are from the Jamaica Defense Force and 4 from the Constabulary Force. The Prime Minister says the country is prepared to send more personnel if needed.
The deployment is comprised of 20 JDF personnel and 4 JCF personnel. The security forces continue in a state of readiness to support further deployment towards our overall commitment as the mission in Haiti is scaled up. Jamaica has close fraternal ties to the people of Haiti, and we stand in solidarity with them. Jamaica also has a national security interest in the situation in Haiti, one of our closest neighbors.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness there. Now, the first batch of 400 Kenyan troops arrived in Haiti in June. Joining us now to discuss, we have Caribbean correspondent at the Miami Herald, Jacqueline Charles, and crime and security expert, Professor Anthony Clayton. Ms. Charles, Professor Clayton, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jacqueline Charles, we've heard stories of running gun battles in the streets of Haiti. That it's a seriously deteriorating situation in terms of law and order. What exactly is the situation on the ground now? What are these 24 Jamaicans heading into?
Well, let's be clear. Overall, there are 250 Jamaican security personnel who have been vetted by the United States and presumably trained with the help of Canada for this mission. These 24 that are heading there, initially their job is going to be to set up a command headquarters. As the Prime Minister said, that they're going to be aiding in logistics. I think that, as this deployment continues on, the challenge is going to be taking back control mostly of Port-au-Prince, but also the lower Artibonite Valley from armed gangs. And that is something that the current forces, along with the Haitian National Police, have struggled with. And what I've been told is one of their weaknesses is in terms of planning. And so the Jamaicans, I can tell you, are very much appreciated, and they've been waiting for them. I was with the Prime Minister of Haiti just a few days ago, and he was trying to get the Prime Minister Holness on the phone to find out how soon would the Jamaicans arrive.
And in terms of on the ground, Jacqueline Charles, we continue to hear reports of gangs openly taking on the security forces there. Have they been making any progress in neutralizing and, getting the gangs to retreat?
So that depends on who you talk to. I mean, if you talk to the force commander, he'll tell you that they've taken back control of the airport, the seaport, and and the General Hospital, the largest hospital. But that hospital also is not functioning. At the same time, in an interview that I did with Gafio and Tunge, he says they really have been in a deployment phase and not really a phase of operation. So, yes, what we know is that since the arrival of the Kenyans, the gangs have not been dissuaded. There's actually been a few communities, one in particular just east of the U.S. Embassy, that has fallen under complete gang control. Guntia, the police over the weekend, though, managed to go in and knock down a wall that the gangs were building in order to prevent security forces from gaining access into that community. But, yes, the forces have not made any significant strides in taking out any of these armed gangs, now control more than 85% of Port-au-Prince.
Mm-hmm. And Professor Clayton, it's such a complicated situation in Haiti where, frankly, some of these gang leaders are stakeholders in the process that will have to unfold in terms of rebuilding the country. We've heard reports that the police force in Haiti is degraded. Can this multinational force realistically make a dent in the situation there?
No, the numbers are far too small. The important thing to remember here is that in 1994, Operation Uphold Democracy, you'll recall, a total of 25,000 troops were deployed into Haiti, and they had 2 aircraft carriers and extensive air support. And they were there for 6 months, and it was not sufficient. It managed to remove the coup leaders. It replaced an elected president, Aristide, and then they left, and the situation very rapidly deteriorated, and it's all been downhill since then. We've had a total commitment from Kenya of 1,000 troops, of whom I think a total, the first contingent was 400. I think they got another 200 in July. They're still not up to full commitment. But there's enormous unhappiness in Kenya about this deployment. There were riots in Kenya, and this was one of the factors in the riots. People were very opposed to this deployment because the Prime Minister was proposing to increase their taxes, and they really didn't see the benefit. We had a lot of pledges from CARICOM nations. We originally pledged 200. We have maybe a total of 100 who could be deployed rapidly, and now we're going to send 24. Belize has scaled down its commitment to 2, a total of 2. These are really notional numbers. This is a token commitment. It's maybe better than nothing, but it will not be sufficient to stand the state back up again.
And do we
it will
know,
not be sufficient to dismantle the gangs.
And do we know why they've scaled down their numbers?
Because it looks like Mission Impossible. And because it's got quagmire written all over it. There is no credible mission plan. They are holding with the support of the Kenyans, they're able to hold very contained patches of ground in Port-au-Prince. And that's it. They cannot do extensive patrols out from those areas. The gangs have simply relocated. They've relocated out of the urban areas that are being patrolled. And they've moved out into the urban periphery and into rural areas. And they will simply move back when the troops are drawn back down again. Mm-hmm. Fundamental problem is that the police force itself, which before the current trouble started, they had less than 13,000 police officers. This is a country with over a million population. On a police to population ratio, that's about a quarter of the number that we have in Jamaica. And that number is still seen as inadequate. Since then, they've lost about nearly 3,500 of the police officers that they had. So they are completely understaffed, given the scale of the problem. And 600 Kenyans and 24 Jamaicans and 2 from Belize will not be sufficient to redress that balance.
Hold it for us, Professor Clayton, Jacqueline Charles. Hold it for us. We're up on a break.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
16 minutes to 6.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs. From luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Experience unmatched performance and ultimate control with KYB shocks from Bird's Auto Parts. KYB shocks are perfect for every ride. Choose from our wide range of shocks such as Gas Adjust, Scorch Force, and XLG, which provides superior handling and stability on all terrain. For a smoother, safer, and more reliable drive, choose KYB. Available now at Bird's Auto Parts. Get 15% off your purchase of 2 or more KYB shocks. August 9 to November 8. It hurts if you don't check Birds.
14 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. The Jamaican government announced today that the first group of Jamaicans will be heading to Haiti, and they will comprise 24 members from the JDF and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We're getting reactions from Caribbean correspondent for the Miami Herald. She's Jacqueline Charles, and crime and security expert Professor Anthony Clayton. Jacqueline, I want to hear you on what we heard from Professor Clayton in the first segment. He says it's looking like mission impossible, a quagmire, and the rhetoric is not being matched by boots on the ground. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, this mission clearly suffers from a lack of staffing, even though the numbers were 2,500. The biggest issue really has been resources. The United States today stands as the largest contributor to the force, providing over $300 million, of which, money has gone in to construct the base from which these security personnel will be working from. The U.S. has also provided dozens of armored vehicles. That was also a reason why we saw a delay in the additional deployment of some of the Jamaican forces outside of the fact that you guys were hit by this hurricane recently. But my understanding is the reason why we have been seeing a slow deployment, it's really about financing. I mean, they just haven't had the money there. I asked the State Department specifically in terms of how these personnel will be paid. And the money for the Jamaican personnel, for instance, is going to come out of the multi-donor trust fund that's controlled by the UN, and Canada just recently sent their check, which was $54 million U.S. That fund right now has $84 million. But the estimation, depending on who you want to listen to, the U.S. estimates that it's going to cost $400 million a year for these operations. The Kings have said $600 million. Either way, there is not $400 or $600 million in the bank. So as a result of that, what has happened is that some countries that have raised their hands to say that they're going to volunteer personnel, they've had to be put on the back burner because what's the use of having people if you don't have the funds to pay them? But there is a logistical issue, and one of the logistical issues right now, the biggest one probably is the lack of area support. So, for instance, this particular town that I told you, Guntia, where the gangs have gone in, taken over that town, cut off access to the town. In order to access that town, you would need to be able to have a helicopter to transport troops in. And as we speak now, there is no helicopter as part of this mission or fixed-wing plane. El Salvador is giving in for evacuations, medical evacs, but as it stands now, they don't have that kind of logistic support to move troops around these gang blockades by air.
Mm-hmm. And Professor Clayton, obviously Jamaica has a vested interest in ensuring that there's stability in Haiti. We have relatively porous borders, the flow of guns across our borders, the flow of people across our borders. Certainly Prime Minister Andrew Holness is mindful of that when he's trying to keep up his end of the commitment. But would it perhaps not be a better strategy to try to secure our borders to stop the flow of any kind of illegality, rather than trying, as you say, to salvage an impossible mission?
I think that would actually be more realistic. A reason why is that there's an estimated 20 to 30,000 gang members in Haiti, and maybe 300 to 500,000 illegal weapons. Now, if those estimates are even roughly close, you would need something in the order of 10 to 20 battle groups, and each battle group is about 1,500 soldiers, to go in there and get full spectrum dominance and contain the situation. Then, over time, you could dismantle the gangs and reestablish the state. That would be an extremely expensive, long-term mission. And nobody is talking about supporting a deployment on that scale. Given that, it would probably be more realistic to think in terms of securing our borders. Although I should also say that almost all the Haitian refugees are going north. They're going into Turks and Caicos, they're going into the Bahamas, and they're making their way to the United States. Bahamas now, something like a quarter of the entire population are now Haitian immigrants, many of them informal immigrants. Turks and Caicos is probably a little less than that, but it's growing extremely rapidly. So most of the attempts to secure borders would have to happen at the moment on the northern sea passages. The Dominican Republic is already closing the land borders. However, as you start to close off all possible evacuation routes and migration routes, it means that the Haitians are forced into any channels that remain open. So if these other countries do succeed in closing other escape routes, then I would expect to see more Haitians forced to travel south into Jamaica and other countries.
And Jacqueline Charles, that would create, obviously, there's the delicate matter of the diplomatic and cultural side of this, because you really don't want to wall off the Haitians in a situation that is so volatile. But then there's a realistic security threat to neighboring states like Jamaica, like Bahamas, like the Turks and Caicos. How do we balance those interests, where they are our brothers and sisters or neighbors in CARICOM, but there is a real security threat if this situation is not contained?
I think we have to be realistic and honest about also the reality. The reality is that there is a guns for ganja trade that is happening currently between Haiti and Jamaica, and it's not being controlled by Jamaica, and it's not necessarily being controlled by Haiti. So you already have this criminal relationship that's taking place. Haitians are already walled off. In order for a Haitian, even if they have a U.S. visa, to travel legally to Jamaica, they're required to get a Jamaican visa, and there's not a Jamaican consulate, in Haiti. Turks and Caicos, which has, work permit, well, from time to time, and I think we're currently in one of these periods where they basically have shut off, work permits, from Haiti. I mean, the reality is that I think, as the Prime Minister says, that gang violence is not just a situation in Haiti. We're seeing it throughout the region. We're seeing countries struggling against this. What you don't want is a situation in Haiti to spill itself over. Jamaica, as you mentioned, was, they raised their hands in January. In fact, they were one of the first countries to volunteer, and it had both the support of the opposition and of the ruling party. This is not easy. This is not an easy task. As the professor says, there's a lot of challenges, especially in terms of the Haitian police, in terms of their numbers, and their ability to do it. But you're also in a race against time, because even in situations in the country where you currently do not have gangs encroaching, people are still living in fear that at any day the gangs can take over, their communities.
Professor,
Professor, just throw in one more suggestion there. Now, instead of deploying foreign troops and police officers, a longer-term strategy, and a better longer-term strategy, might be to finance the training and expansion of the Haitian police force and the army. Now, it was extremely unfortunate, but President Aristide disbanded the army in 1995. It was re-established in 2018, but it means you've got an army that's much too small. At the most, it's probably about 1,500 now, and they are inadequately trained and inadequately equipped. So you have a police force and an army that's far too small and ill-equipped to deal with the problem. And a huge part of the solution, not the only part by any means, but a part of the solution is going to be to build up Haiti's ability to police itself and to take care of these problems. That might actually be a better use of resources than financing and using the money, the available money, which is clearly inadequate. Instead of using that to finance external intervention, use that to build up domestic capacity.
Professor Clayton and Jacqueline, beginning with you first, Professor Clayton, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was on the ground in Haiti last week for a few hours, and he pledged more assistance. Despite its sordid history with Haiti, isn't that where the ultimate provider of the kind of financial and technical resources will have to come from? Are they demonstrating the willingness to step up?
Well, one
of the things is that the U.S. currently
in,
does support the Haitian National Police. They are the largest funder of the Haitian National Police. But at the same time, when you have U.S. policy that allows individuals to, migrate temporarily to the United States as long as they have a financial sponsor and the U.S. Embassy itself remains closed, that raises challenges in terms of your ability to build your police force. There are discussions currently taking place about the Army and about creating some sort of a second force. But, look, what I've seen in the last couple of years among, Haitians is that they want relief. They want the ability to be able to walk the streets and to do so with a sense of security. I mean, it's amazing. A few years ago, in terms of my job as a Caribbean correspondent, I was more comfortable going to Haiti than I was going to Jamaica because of the gang violence there. Jamaica has managed to tame that and has created a system where there are increasingly more parts of Jamaica that are safer today. So this is not impossible. It is able to do. I think that's what the Jamaicans bring here. They bring that level of expertise and that ability for both military and police officers to kind of work together and not get in each other's way. The deployment of the Jamaica Defense Force will be the first military component of this mission, which is more of a police-led mission. But if you talk to the average Haitian right now, they just want relief. They want security. They don't want it tomorrow. They don't want it 10 years from now. They don't want it 20 years from now. They want it now. Kids are going to school and bullets are flying. There's absolutely no guarantees. There's nothing. There are no sacred cows here. Anyone at any time can be killed, kidnapped, or raped. And it's just horrendous, the kind of violence is taking place.
That's all the time.
Yeah.
Last word to you, Professor.
Yeah, I think it has, yes. I mean, in Jamaica, we have come a far way in the last couple of years, but we have a very, very long road still to go. And that was a hard-won experience, which undoubtedly would be of enormous value. But I think it must also be said that the roots of the problem in Haiti go back further and are even deeper. A lot of the problems that we see today with the gangs were actually created by their own political elite. And that segment of the community, we need to question the role of the political elite in Haiti in helping to create this situation. Those power structures eventually have to be challenged as well.
Professor Anthony Clayton, thank you so much, crime and security expert. And as usual, Jacqueline Charles, thank you so much, Caribbean correspondent for the Miami Herald newspaper.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good.
2 hours to go now. 2 hours to go now before Kamala Harris meets Donald Trump for the very first time. They've never met. And they didn't meet because, of course, he tried to overthrow a lawful election and did not participate in the peaceful transfer of power. He has landed in Philadelphia.
Yes.
And CNN is reporting he's on his way to the venue.
The debate will be held inside the Constitutional Center in Philly. Quite an imposing building. I've been inside there. Reeks of history, American history. Yes, it's a most appropriate place for a presidential debate.
And an appropriate place for Donald Trump to be challenged about his threat to democracy, where American democracy was born.
And I think she shouldn't spend much time on that. The American people have baked in, yes, that this man is an autocrat. I think she has got to use the majority of her time to reintroduce herself and to tell the American people what she's going to be doing to help improve their lives, reducing their prices of goods and services. That is what she has to do. She has to also demonstrate, of course, that she's ready to be commander-in-chief. Yes, she has a solid grasp of the issues and speaks to the ordinary American people, the middle class, and forget that the criminal is next to her.
We'll have coverage starting at 15 minutes to 8, and of course we'll bring you analysis after those intense 90 minutes. The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
It's 2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. The Integrity Commission is denying that it divulged information about reports recently submitted to the House of Representatives for tabling. In a statement on Tuesday, the Commission issued a reminder that it's illegal to report or make public statements on investigation reports that have not yet been tabled. The statement follows revelations by both Nationwide News and the Jamaica Observer, which have been reporting on issues linked to investigations conducted by the Anti-Corruption Agency. Last week, Thursday, Nationwide News disclosed that reports the Integrity Commission sent to Parliament were related to an investigation into the Prime Minister's statutory declarations, which have not been certified for 3 years. By Monday, details emerged that the failure to certify the declarations were related to 4 bank accounts in the names of the Prime Minister's parents and a former constituency office manager. The following day, the Jamaica Observer newspaper dropped its own investigative piece alleging that the Integrity Commission was probing 8 politicians for corruption. The 8 include 5 from the PNP and 3 from the JLP. Opposition leader Mark Golding was swift in slamming the Observer report, saying the reference concerning PNP politicians was concocted.
Malicious stories may have been concocted and sent to the Integrity Commission for partisan political reasons without any foundation whatsoever. I want the public to note that this reporting by the Jamaica Observer is entirely separate from the 8 sitting members of Parliament cited by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment. The allegations reported by the Observer article are not part of the ongoing investigation by the Integrity Commission into the 8 MPs who are accused of illicit enrichment. In my view, this is a blatant attempt to confuse and mislead the public.
Amid the brewing controversy, Chairman of the Integrity Commission, retired Justice Seymour Panton, addressed the reporting on the investigation report submitted to Parliament. He acknowledged the extensive public chatter about the purported contents of the reports and stated that the submitted reports have yet to be tabled in Parliament. The Commission says Section 53 of enabling legislation strictly prohibits public discussion of untabled reports. He stresses that no statements or disclosures regarding the start or conduct of an investigation can be made by the Commission or any other entity until the reports are officially presented to Parliament. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has expressed concern over the leaked information and says he's anxious to have the documents tabled.
I'm concerned about leaks, very much so. Concerned to the point where members of the opposition could say with definitive certainty when the report was going to be tabled and what was the content of the report. I am very concerned, and that was even before the report reached Parliament.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, 2 leading political commentators, Lloyd B. Smith and Dr. Nadine Spence, say leaks to the media in a functioning democracy are inevitable. They were reacting to the controversy over the media's reporting details from an investigation submitted to Parliament by the Integrity Commission. The Integrity Commission has warned members of the public and media houses that reporting from untabled reports is a breach of the Integrity Commission Act. Nationwide News reported on aspects of one of the Commission's recent reports, which is awaiting tabling. Editor-in-Chief of the Western Mirror, Lloyd B. Smith, says leaks to the media are an inevitable feature of a functioning democracy.
In any democracy where there's a thriving press that operates with a certain amount of freedom, we are going to have leaks. And we are also going to have opposition parties that will want to take advantage of situations to get mileage. And this is what has been playing out.
Political commentator Dr. Nadine Spence agrees. She says in this instance regarding the most recent report from the Integrity Commission, the media's reporting has advanced the issue.
Yeah, because the media has a role to play, and sometimes the media's leak can help to move the matter in a more positive direction. In
this case, this leak is the one that is helping us to add clarity to what has been a very confusing situation.
Yes.
Dr. Lloyd B. Smith, and Dr. Nadine Spence. Jamaica will be sending 24 military and police personnel to Haiti as part of a multinational force. This was confirmed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness during the post-cabinet media briefing at his office on Tuesday morning.
In March 2024, with the support of the United States and Canada, Jamaica brought other CARICOM personnel together, along with our own forces, to begin training for deployment to Haiti. So as Minister of Defense, Today we announce that Jamaica will begin its participation in the multinational security support mission with the deployment of 24 personnel to Haiti to provide command, planning, and logistics support.
Jamaica committed in 2023 to deploying troops to Haiti to help restore law and order in the crisis-torn country as part of a UN-backed multinational police force led by Kenya. The contingent is scheduled to arrive in Port-au-Prince on Thursday and will join the nearly 400 Kenyan police who arrived earlier this year. 20 members are from the Jamaica Defense Force. The remaining 4 are members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the country is prepared to send more personnel if needed.
The deployment is comprised of 20 JDF personnel and 4 JCF personnel. The security forces continue in a state of readiness to support further deployment towards our overall commitment as the mission in Haiti is scaled up. Jamaica has close fraternal ties to the people of Haiti, and we stand in solidarity with them. Jamaica also has a national security interest in the situation in Haiti, one of our closest neighbors.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Outperform, outlast. We top performance. Chakama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy electrodes, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
My Mega best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Jamaica is set to go in with the same 11 that played against Cuba when they face Honduras in a CONCACAF Nations League encounter in Tegucigalpa tonight at 9 o'clock Jamaica time. Jamaica were held to a goalless draw by Cuba at the National Stadium 5 nights ago, with Cuba playing 10 players from midway the first half. However, coach Steve McLaren will keep faith with the 11 which took the field to face the Hondurans, who will come into the game on the back of a 5-match unbeaten run. Honduras blanked Trinidad and Tobago 4-0. McLaren says despite Honduras' good form, they're going in search of all 3 points the Jamaicans will be.
I think very difficult games. As I said, I think from the years that Jamaica played them, they've progressed very well. And they are a better team now than they were a year ago. Results show that. But we take one game at a time, and we take as the next one, the most important one, and the one in which we, for every game, we plan to win. We prepare to win. We don't prepare to lose or to draw. We prepare, how can we beat Honduras? So that's what we have to do, and hopefully the performance will get the result.
That's Steve McLaren, coach of the Jamaica team. And now for some final scores and updates from the Manning and the Costa Cup competitions. Jamaica College, they crushed Meadowbrook. Well, not Meadowbrook. Pembroke Hall by 9-0 thanks to a hat-trick from Gio Taylor. That's Jamaica College crushing Pembroke Hall by 9-0. Gio Taylor getting a hat-trick. There was also another 9-0 scoreline. Heidel over Arden High, 9-0. Heidel, the beaten finalists from last season, off to a very, very good start. St. Catherine High School gained 3 points and a 3-goal victory margin in their game against Norman Manley. The game was not played because of an unprepared field at Maxfield Park, and Ascot beat Bridgeport by 1-0. Over in the Costa Cup, Rossies, they defeated Cambridge by 3-1. That's the final score in that game, the Rossies game. Central High, they beat Lennon 4-1. Kemsill, they were leading Old Harbour 5-0 the last time we heard. Dintil, they crushed Tatius Golding by 12-0. That's a final score. Jade Lynch had given Stets a 1-0 lead over Magotty. Haven't heard anything from that one further. Ferncourt and a Butnut Gallimore, they ended 1-1. William, they beat Mushet by 3-0. Christiana and Alphonsus Davis were goalless. McGrath, they were leading Charlemont by 1-0 the last time we heard. Cedric Titus, they crushed Holland by 6-0. Spot Valley turned back Discovery Bay 5-2. Mount St. Joseph beat Mayday 1-0. And we told you earlier that Rossies defeated Cambridge by 3-1. Captain Harry Kane scored twice on the occasion of his 100th appearance for England as the Three Lions beat Finland 2-0 at Wembley today in the European Nations League. Kane scored in the 57th minute to give the host the lead. He then came back 19 minutes later to complete the brace for England to go join top of Group 2 in League B.
Here's Kane again! Finally, England have the breakthrough against Finland, and it's another golden moment for the man with the golden cap, the golden boots, and the Midas touch. By the way, Kane. Harry Kane again. They just burst into life, and he just burst the net. He is an all-time great.
All right, so that's a double there for Harry Kane in that game for England. Today, Greece are ahead of England on goal difference in the group after beating the Republic of Ireland 2-0 at the Aviva Arena. And that stadium is in Dublin. And it was Ireland's second defeat in 4 days on the new head coach, Heimer Hallgrimsson. In other games, Germany came from behind to earn a 2-2 draw with the Netherlands. And Czechia, formerly the Czech Republic, they outscored Ukraine by 3-2. And we're getting some other scores here from today's action in the Manning Cup. For instance, the St. George's Holy Trinity, a final score. We did not get that. Now we have it. Holy Trinity lost by 2-0 to St. George's College. And we did tell you about the game over at Maxfield, which was scheduled to go off and didn't go off. We did give you Pembroke Hall versus Jamaica College. That ended 9-0 in favor of Jamaica College. Here's one we didn't give you. Clancarthy versus Eltham High School played at the Alpha Field today. Eltham, they crushed Clancarthy by 5-0. So those are the Manning Cup final scores that we've got for you. Former U.S. sprinter Justin Gatlin and up-and-coming star Erin Brown say the comparisons between the Usain Bolt and young athletes need to stop immediately. Gout of Australia, the USA's Arian Knighton and Botswana's Litsile Tebogo are a few of the athletes that have been labelled as Bolt's successors. At the 2009 World Athletics Championships in Berlin, Germany, Bolt set the 100 and 200 meters world records. They stand up to this day. Bolt was 22 years old for both of those races, with his mark of 9.58 and 19.19 achieved in the days leading up to his 23rd birthday. Since then, nobody has been able to match the fastest times in history, as Bolt's legend grows stronger by the year. However, speaking on Ready, Set, Go, 2004 Olympic 100 meters champion Gatlin says the track and field world should allow the young athletes to define their own pathway.
Stop putting these young athletes on a path that comes with a lot of stress. It comes with a lot of pressure. Let them go out there and develop themselves. If anything, let him say, no, I'm gout, bro. I'm about to be different. You know what I'm saying? I'm Taboho. I'm about to be different. I understand that you want to give them measure and say, man, you're going to be great just like this individual, but don't tell them the way their path is going to go. Like, let this man figure out how he want to be successful. Let the man do what he want to do.
That's Justin Gatlin, and Brown says such comparisons only put young athletes under unnecessary pressure.
If you Google gout, the first picture that pops up is Usain Bolt. I actually did this the other day. So this comparison is really big. I think it's more so of the body type, but I don't know, that longevity matters. Like, people underestimate that longevity that Bolt had. Like, people think that Bolt just came around and just did a little winning and then just disappeared. But like, That 3 Olympics with straight gold medals. If you make it in your career and you successfully obtain 1 gold medal, like, you're a legend. But if you can go 3 Olympic cycles and get gold medals, all 3 of those cycles, that's a different type of specimen right there. So I feel like out of respect, you shouldn't compare nobody to that.
That's Erin Brown. I'm not sure if you folks have ever seen Gout from Australia. His comparison with Bolt doesn't only have to do with the fact that he's a 16-year-old boy who runs very fast times, but his running action like Bolt, his size and height is like Bolt, and he got a slight resemblance of Bolt. If you have the time, Google him. It's Gout. It's Gout from Australia. Brilliant, brilliant boy. St. Lucia will honor Olympic 100 meters gold medalist Julian Alfred with a public holiday on September 27. St. Lucia Prime Minister Philip Peer announced that the day will be called Julian Alfred Day. Alfred won the Caribbean island nation's first Olympic medals in any sport, taking 100 meters gold and 200 meters silver in Paris. St. Lucia's permanent secretary in the Ministry of Sport, Aurelice Delaire, says Alfred is expected to arrive back home on September 24 and be celebrated until she leaves on September 29.
When she arrives, we have a small opening ceremony at the airport, and of course we have some fanfare and so on for her arrival. She'll be met by cabinet members and other members, Olympic Committee, the sporting fraternity. Thereafter, where she lives, Uranera International Airport to Grosile. So all of St. Lucia, at least on the East Coast, will get to have a view, even if it's just to see her on the way to Grosile. On the 25th, we have schools rallies in the West and the East Coast. So we have students from all over St. Lucia will get a chance to see her and showcase our talent also at these 2 school rallies at the Soufre Mini Stadium and at the Larry Shoes playing field.
The 23-year-old will also be honored by her primary school.
Other announcements will be made at the Cicero Primary School. You know that this is the primary school that Julian attended, and so they have taken it up on their own to do some activities there together, the parliamentary rep. On that day, First National also has some activities for Julian, and I think they should be the ones to announce the activities. There are 2 activities, one of it is private.
And then on Julian Alfred Day, all of St. Lucia will be out to celebrate the Olympian at the Darren Sammy Stadium.
We're hoping that St. Lucians will come out and support. We're expecting to have as huge a crowd as we had for the CPL, so I'm already encouraging all St. Lucians to bring along the children, bring the entire family, and let's make it a national event on the 27th, where the best of St. Lucia will be on show.
That's Aurelice Delaire this past March. Alfred won St. Lucia's first medal at a global track and field championships. She won gold in the 60 meters at the World Indoors, and she was also feted upon visiting St. Lucia after that achievement. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
On Sunday, August 11th, in the quiet community of Cherry Tree Lane in Clarendon, our entire nation was shaken by a brutal act of violence.
Gangsters mercilessly took the lives of 8 innocent Jamaicans, including a 7-year-old boy and several women.
These criminals will strike again, destroying more families and more communities unless we stand together to stop them.
If you have any information that can help bring these killers to justice, please share it with the security forces.
The government has established a reward fund of $25 million for information leading to the arrest and charge of the perpetrators who committed this heinous act.
The facilitators who supplied them with arms, intelligence, and transportation.
Those who harbor and protect these criminals after the crime.
If you know something, say something.
Call Crime Stop at 311 MOCA at 888-6622-847.
NIB at 811 or the JDF at 837-8888.
Together, we will defeat the gangs and develop a culture of peace in our country.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Ministry of National Security.
Say goodbye to stuffy air and hello to clean air. Call the air conditioning experts, Geddes Refrigeration Limited, for all your indoor air quality needs. Their duct cleaning services will leave your home or office feeling fresh and healthy. Call them at 876-923-652123 or email grljasocialmedia@gmail.com. Located at 226 Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11. Breathe easy with Geddes Refrigeration Limited.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robeanne Williams, a special one to our YouTubers. Thank you for tuning in. We like to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So it's a little bit of a sad note where a man died at the Sangster International Airport, So Transport Minister Darrell Vaz, he's describing as troubling an arrangement struck by the operators of Sangster International Airport and private hospital operator, Hospitan, which appears to not include a provision for the presence of an ambulance at the airport to attend to emergencies. The minister, he was speaking with our news team on the tragic incident. Last Friday it happened. A 71-year-old man, he died on the floor of the airport. He is Leroy Smith. According to Minister Vaz, the ambulance from Hospital arrived 30 minutes after the emergency call. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz is taking issue with the absence of an ambulance service on the grounds of Sangster International Airport.
The airport concessionaires have a contractual arrangement with Hospital, which is in close proximity, that provides on-site medical personnel on a 24-hour basis, and also access to one of the 7 or 6 ambulances that they have under their control. The issue for me is very simple. With the amount of traffic and throughput at the airport of tens of thousands of persons, obviously having a contractual arrangement which does not include an ambulance spot on premises is a little troubling to me.
Indeed, Transport Minister there, Darrell Vaz. So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, what's your reaction to the absence of an ambulance on the grounds of Sangster International Airport? I must tell you that the MBJ Airports, the operators of Sangster International Airport, they released a statement, and we'll get to that shortly. They say the sequence of the events leading to the death of Mr. Smith last Friday, they have sought to clarify the sequence of events. If you're just joining us, we're inside the Court of Public Opinion. Your reaction to the absence of an ambulance on the grounds of Sangster International Airport. The Transport Minister says he finds it troubling. I'll start with the comments on our X platform. McHugh is saying, stunned. It raises significant concerns regarding safety and emergency preparedness. This situation might warrant further investigation and enhancements to the airport's emergency response protocols to prevent similar occurrences in the future. Let me see. Proud Yardman is asking, is it the standard? As far as I know, it's an off-site operation that's called as needed. Yeah. Mr. Unpredictable, big insult to travelers, and not just the airport but the airlines as well. Since the man wouldn't be making the flight again, why didn't they use the ticket cost to cover the medical bill? They are both wicked, and I hope the family lawyer up. Let me see. So what is saying it doesn't make sense to have an ambulance sitting at the airport when it could be out in the community working. Okay. Wakidan says it's continued disgrace and proverbial slackness for a facility that thousands use and millions of dollars exchanged on a daily basis, some pocketing a whole heap of money while putting the so-called tourist capital of Jamaica at risk. Okay. Diesel says, hardly shocked. Yeah, hardly shocked. Jamaica is a wannabe country with a wannabe government and pretend opposition. Wow. Hospitals joke. Okay. All right. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the incident at Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay. Yeah. According to the Transport Minister, it's troubling the arrangement struck by operators of Sangster International Airport and private hospital operator Hospitan. It appears to not include a provision for the presence of an ambulance at the airport to attend to emergencies. On our Instagram platform, Barrington is saying that we need an authentic government to govern Jamaica. Dave Hall believes that it very slack. D Fashion is saying it befuddles my mind that one of our main hubs for international travel did not have an ambulance on standby 24/7. How is this possible? No one at the MOH or Jamaica Tourist Board recognized the need. All right, let me go on over to our Facebook platform here. To the question, your reaction to the absence of an ambulance on the grounds of Sangster International Airport. Let's see what the people have to say over on Facebook. Daphne is saying, this kind of news wants some more investigation and information before I comment. This news has too much ending. I would like to hear from the beginning, so I'm going to drink water and mind my business until then. All right. That's understandable. Barry Blacks is saying shame and disgrace are the two words to describe the situation. Ricardo Evans is saying in 20 plus years it has only been needed. It has only been needed for okay, let me start again. In 20 plus years it has only been needed for it once. Okay, I think he's saying there's only been a need for it once. That means it's not needed there. That's what he's saying. Let me see if I can get in some more. Philip Jackson says, when the wit is in the thought, it is out. Ambulance should naturally be part of the airport. This is sad, but when death come knocking at your door, wow, which ambulance can outrun death? Michelle Bernard says, has several questions. Did the man die at the check-in counter? Would an ambulance be needed? Is there an ambulance at the fire department on the same compound of the airport? She's saying that a deep investigation is needed. The story has too much endings. I love to hear the beginning. And she's sending condolences to the family, of course. Jeffrey Clive is saying any first world country would have an ambulance and medical staff standing by. Yeah. And Pauline is saying her question, was he alive after he fell? Just asking. It's why there was not any urgency to move him. Need answers before criticizing. Okay. Rosalind Buck is sending condolences to his family. Wesley Cunningham JP says shabby, shameful, backwards in a place that is crowded every day. All right. So Smith was in Jamaica for his brother's funeral. Very, very sad. And he was returning to Florida on Friday when he collapsed and hit his head at the airport. At least one eyewitness who attended to Smith says he was bleeding from the head. And in a post on social media, the woman said she watched him take his last breath while waiting for an ambulance. MBJ Airports said it took 7 minutes for medical personnel to get to Smith, but the female eyewitness says it took at least 20 minutes, so some conflicting reports there. But MBJ Airports, they have since sought to clarify the sequence of events in a release. The operators say, contrary to several reports, emergency services responded in quick time. Breaking its silence, MBJ says there is absolutely no policy or requirement for payment of ambulance services by a passenger during an emergency at Sangster International Airport. Now, that was one claim that was made, that the hospital service required payment before. That was one of the claims that were made. MBJ says that was not so. There's no policy in place for that. MBJ is saying that the collapse of Mr. Smith was not related to any type of slip and fall or other type of accident on the airport's premises. And the operators say, contrary to media reports, the hospital and duty nurse arrived at the scene 6 minutes after being contacted to attend to Smith. So some contrasting reports there, and we hope to get to the bottom of it. I believe that there will be a report handed to the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. So we await that report and its content. Let me see if I can just get a few more in on our YouTube. Yeah. Jacqueline Thomas says they maybe move the right way. Is that in response to the question? Fax is saying, first question, since when has the airport been without an ambulance? Second question, what interim measure was put in place if there was no ambulance? And third question, did the patient die when he collapsed? Well, there is a policy, according to the Transport Minister, there's a policy in relation to the hospital operator and MBJ. David Nebar believes it's a big lawsuit. Max Romy is asking what killed him. Well, it's for post-mortem to clarify that. Howard Dawkins says ambulance is at the airport. Yeah? Okay. Max Romy says a sick bay with nurses is good enough until the ambulance arrive. James says the airport is privately run. Operators are responsible for adhering to international standards. A lot of comments coming in on this one. Patrick Samuel says an ambulance cannot sit idly at the airport on a day-to-day basis. This may occur once every 3 decades. Wow. It's really a sad situation. Somebody lost their life. And we do hope that we can get some answers from that report that's to be provided to the Transport Minister Darrell Vaz. We will get an update into that. But up next, that's all the time we have for Public Opinion. Up next, the Business Report. Stay tuned.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Apple has been ordered to pay Ireland $14 billion in unpaid taxes by Europe's top court, putting an end to an 8-year row. The European Commission accused Ireland of giving Apple illegal tax advantages in 2016, but Ireland has consistently argued against the need for the tax to be paid. The Irish government said it would respect the ruling. Apple said it was disappointed with the decision and accused the European Commission of trying to retroactively change the rules. A separate European Court of Justice ruling on Tuesday also brought a long-running case with Google to a close, with the company ordered to pay a £2 billion fine for market dominance abuse. After years of rumor, speculation, and hype, Sony has confirmed it is launching a more powerful and much more expensive version of its hugely popular PlayStation 5 console. The PS5 Pro will be able to show more advanced graphics and display the most demanding games at higher, more consistent frame rates. But that added power will come at a cost. The PS5 Pro will be the most expensive console from Sony to date. It will cost £699 when it launches on November 7 this year, hundreds of pounds more than the PS5. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 65 cents to buy $1, 208 Jamaican dollars and 32 cents to buy £1, and 117 Jamaican dollars and 47 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robian Williams. Good evening.
Here's to the early risers, and we are here all-nighters. But go the extra milers, and let's do it until it works. Workers, People who are powerful because they power through day after day, challenge after challenge. You see, true power, it's not something you can buy or collect. It is something that starts on the inside, and you always know it when you see it. Sunshine Snack Peanuts, proud supporters of the powerful.
Catch the E-Zone with me, the Stinger Honeybee, alongside
Kareem Boy Ting.
as we turn up the heat
in the street. New show.
New vibe.
Same us.
Same us.
Monday to Friday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
We'll bring you entertainment news.
We'll take away your Monday blues.
You don't want to miss a week with us.
We'll talk health.
Well,
jump into the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss the brain buster.
Or the crazy giveaways.
I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugatti.
Ow.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast, right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m., with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Attention all data protection enthusiasts. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM every Tuesday at 8:20 a.m. and Thursday at 8:25 a.m. for a new program, Data Protection Matters. Starting June 4, 2024, join us as we delve into crucial topics that will keep you informed and compliant. Data Protection Matters is hosted by Chuck Cameron, founder of Design Privacy, your trusted partner in data protection. Don't miss out. That's every Tuesday morning at 8:20 and every Thursday at 8:25 a.m. Stay protected, stay informed with Nationwide 90 FM and Design Privacy.
House
certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the Nation's Business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
And we begin with an update from the Jamaica Fire Brigade. We understand, Cliff, that 2 persons were swept away by flood waters somewhere in the corporate area. We have the head of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Stuart Beckford.
Yeah, so at approximately 3:20 p.m., we received and responded to a call at Waltham Park Road to indicate that 2 persons, which indicated that 2 persons were washed away following heavy rain this afternoon. A team from the Trenchtown Fire Station was dispatched, and on the arrival at the given location, they were redirected to another section of the gully, which passes through the Seaview Garden area. So they ended up at Chesterfield Drive, where they are currently as I speak to you. We have been advised that one of the individuals was rescued and taken to the hospital by the police. The other individual, who is said to be a 19-year-old male, is at this time, to the best of our knowledge, is still missing. We have mobilized our drone team, and they have been scouring the gully. We have 2 teams in that area, one Chesterfield Avenue and one on the causeway where the gully empties out. So we are still on location. We're hoping that we'll be able to rescue him. But time is not necessarily on our side as it relates to the ability. Because once it gets dark, then we will have to call off the operation. So at this time, as I said, I can confirm that 2 individuals were reportedly washed away. One was rescued, and we are still searching for the second person.
That's Stuart Beckford, the Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, providing that update to Nationwide's Mahiri Stewart.
I gather it was a female who was rescued. The male still missing, 19 years old. The female, 18 years old. And they were washed away in swift waters from Content Drive off Waltham Park Road in the Maho Drive Gully. Yeah? And apparently the female was seen in the Majestic Gardens area where she was rescued, but no sighting yet of the 19-year-old young man.
And of course, we did have a heavy downpour this afternoon. Yeah? So let's hope for the best.
Yeah. And it's now dark. Yeah. So as you heard the Commissioner said, it's going to be difficult now for them to continue the search in the darkness. Well, Citizens Action for Free and Fair Elections Cafe is voicing dissatisfaction with the Prime Minister's setting of what it calls arbitrary dates for by-elections. In a statement on Monday, Cafe criticized the practice as an abuse of power.
The criticism follows the recent announcement by Prime Minister Andrew Holness of a by-election in Northeast St. Anne just a day after Marcia Smith vacated the seat. The announcement raised questions about other vacancies, of course, South Trelawney, where constituents have been without an MP for 1 year, along with a vacancy over there in the Morant Bay Division in East St. Thomas of the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation.
Well, we're now being joined by Director of CAFE, Dr. Lloyd Barnett. Good evening, Dr. Barnett.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. In the release from CAFE, you made the point that, listen, it's now time to curb prime ministerial powers in arbitrarily setting election dates to suit their electoral timetables. Yes? How should we go about that?
Dr. Barnett? No, not hearing you. All right, so, Dr. Barnett?
Yes. I can hardly hear you, but go ahead.
I was saying that in your statement, CAFE made the point that it's time to curb the prime ministerial powers that afford prime ministers this right to really set and to manipulate the setting of election dates to suit their own partisan interest. And I'm asking, how should we go about doing that?
Well, I believe it is useless merely passing a law which says that it should be not delayed more than a specified time if there are no consequences for disobeying the law. So some alternative has to be provided. And in the case of a by-election, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why it should not be held within a short time as a matter of course, which should be purely an administrative decision. And the administrators of the electoral system is the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. So that in the case of by-elections, where a person has resigned or died, then there's no need for political intervention. The administrative arrangements for the holding of the by-election is made by the ECJ, and the power to fix a date for that election should be by the ECJ.
And what kind of legal amendments would we need to enact to secure such an outcome?
Well, it can be done by the ordinary statutes because these by-election arrangements are done under the provisions of the Representation of the People's Act and the local government legislation. And the provisions in the case of the Parliament the Constitution doesn't prescribe any time for the holding of the by-election to fill such a vacancy. So that could be done by a provision in the Representation of the People's Act. But the point I'm making is that in order to ensure that it is not ignored, then some arrangements should be made either for the ECJ to fix a date in the first instance or to fix it on failure of the Prime Minister to fix the date within a very specified and limited time.
There's a view, Dr. Barnett, that this is a long-standing prerogative of Westminster Prime Ministers, a privilege that they've enjoyed, and some say there is no harm to allowing the Prime Minister to wield this kind of authority. What's the danger that CAFE sees here?
Well, I don't know that you can say because it has been done before. It is the correct thing to do. It is the representation of people in their parliament or in their parish council is an important part of the democratic process. And if it has been going bad, then we must fix it and not say because it has been going bad before, we should continue to have the same problems. The democratic system is under threat because of lack of enthusiasm about it, as we can see by the low voter turnout. So we shouldn't disrespect the system and expect that people will respond to our appeals when we make it.
You spoke to a way forward for by-elections. What of general elections? Yes? How can we curb the Prime Minister?
The by-election is caused by some unusual
No, I'm saying a general election now. No, Dr. Barnett. Dr. Barnett, I heard you on...
the disqualification of someone.
Oh, he's not hearing me.
So that when that occurs and it is clear the result is that the constituencies have no representation in the representative body. And that is not a desirable thing. And what you need to do is to, as I say, have a objective method of fixing the date.
I heard that,
for
Dr.
the holding
Barnett.
of the by-election.
I heard that. Where I was going now is general elections, parliamentary national elections. Yes?
Well, that is also a question which needs to be addressed because there are divided views on it. There are many persons who think that for the general elections, there ought to be a limited time, even if not a specific date. In other words, that it must be held within a particular period following on the last dissolution of Parliament, so that you might say it must be held within 4 years or 5 years, and within a certain period at the end of that prescribed period. It can be a month or 2 months to allow some flexibility in the fixing of the actual date. The alternative of fixing a specific date, as say in the United States, where it is held on the 4th of November every 4th year, is that there might be some administrative problems relating to a particular date. So that in that case, I would think that you can still have a fairly precise arrangement if you have a fixed period rather than a fixed date.
Yes. So there's certainty, and everybody, all the actors are aware what is the timetable.
Indeed, yes. And you see, if it's use of political manipulation and the advantage of a particular party, then it discredits the system.
Yes. What obtains now in the UK, Dr. Barnett? How have they reformed their system?
I'm sorry?
In the UK, what obtains now? How have they reformed?
Still has a flexible position. In fact, as they had in fact appointed a parliamentary constitutional reform committee, which had recommended a more precise and fixed date. And that was set aside by a former prime minister who took advantage of the Brexit confusion and dissatisfaction with the relationship with the European Union, and that was used as the excuse for departing from the agreed arrangements. And so in the UK, it has gone back to the flexibility, which is what we have been discussing as being undesirable.
Yeah. Wow. And Cafe, how active is the organization now? Will you be monitoring the by-elections?
Does two things essentially. That is, monitor elections, including by-elections, and it also conducts educational programs in democratic principles. And more recently, we have been instituting a democracy in clubs in schools project, which is to get young persons to be involved in discussing democratic principles, and in practicing debating national issues.
And your membership now? You need more members. You need more volunteers, don't you?
No, we need more volunteers to assist in these projects because CAFE operates on a volunteer system. In other words, when we have elections, we make an appeal and persons volunteer. So they are not really members on a continuous basis for that purpose. And similarly, in relation to the democratic clubs, we would need volunteers to assist in, helping to operate that project.
Yeah.
And what does CAFE want to see the Prime Minister do now in the short term regarding the vacancies across the country?
Regarding
the vacancies, the other vacancies?
That the date should be fixed. As simple as that. There is no legal or administrative reason why the date should not be fixed.
And you'd want...
powerful constitutional principle in favor of not leaving people unrepresented, which is what you do when you do not have a by-election to fill these casual vacancies.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Dr.
Your
Lloyd
Honor.
Barnett, yes, Director of Citizens for Free and Fair Elections in Jamaica. Thank you, sir. This is Nationwide at 5. After the break, Nature's Remedies, and then Kamla versus Donald.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Pocket when the budget so me reach KFC. New crunchy box smell. That for me a piece of chicken, 2 wings, biscuit and a drink. Crunchy box of the flavor, so we make the lid. Value for your money, flavor and the taste. KFC, Crunchy Box run the place. So much variety, the box now no space. KFC, Crunchy Box run the place.
Crunch your craving with the new KFC Crunchy Box. A piece of delicious chicken, 2 hot wings, biscuit, and Pepsi for only $850. KFC is finger licking good.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey.
7 o'clock. It's a Tuesday, so you know what time it is. It's time for Nature's Remedies. Yeah, this is the program to educate you about the uses of natural herbs. Tonight, we'll be talking about those back-to-school herbs, as usual. We'll be opening the lines so you can call in with any questions you may have for our resident pharmacognosist. That's Dr. Denise Daly. Good evening, Doc.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Kip. and
Good evening.
listeners.
Good evening.
I'm doing well. Thank
Great.
you. And how are you?
Doing all right.
I'm all right. Looking
right.
forward to Kamla versus Donald, Doc.
I know. Yes, we all are.
Yes.
You may need a herb for him at the end of the 90 minutes, you know, Doc. Because he's nervous, you know. Nervous, you know, Doc.
You know, I'm not.
So what's up?
I'm a little anxious, but not nervous. I think she is going to do very well.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so as well.
We'll see. Just under an hour now. All right, but back to school herbs, Doc. This is the washout ones, yeah?
This is the washout one. You know, we have to ensure that some of our traditions don't die. After a long summer, when you go into the field and you eat your mango, you go over every food that you can find throughout the day, when it comes to back to school time, parents start putting the bush, the herbs together to give you a washout. What exactly does that mean? And do you remember your washout days?
Yes, it is bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah. How
Horrible.
did you feel?
Terrible.
Before and after?
I dreaded that Sunday or Saturday before school reopened. You have to go barber. You have to start the herb.
Yes.
It was dreadful. Why do we abuse our children like that?
Abuse.
Abuse, right?
Yes. But let me start by asking, Doc, why is it important to do it in the first instance?
That says it. So when you have the washout, so to speak, it's like a laxative that helps to clear the digestive system based on the colic or the diarrhea or any constipation or anything that may be in the alimentary canal, which is from your mouth right down to your anus. It helps to clear the pathway and give you a clear mind, so to speak, going back to school. And it just so happens that research now shows that your gut-brain axis, that's very important in your mental clarity. So how you respond to your environment, what you put inside, really helps with mental clarity, right? So our parents, our forefathers were looking out and make sure we have all the tools going back to school and getting ready to learn.
You know, Doc, that makes sense because I remember when he used to be lethargic, they used to say you have worm.
Yes.
And if you got to take a washout.
Yes.
Yes. The worms taking up all the nutrients. So you just start again, get some parasitic herbs and flush them out of the system. And then you feel better, you feel lighter, you feel healthier.
You did. Yeah?
Yeah.
But boy, the herb bitter bad.
That is it, the bitterness. And that's part of its medicinal properties.
Do we still do that?
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping our callers will say. Their washout remedies.
Oh.
Some families still do it.
Yeah.
I still do it. I use not as bitter herbs, but I still make a little concoction for these guys.
So what are some of those herbs? I know Cersei. Yeah.
Cersei is one.
Okay.
So Cersei is a good washout herb. And you normally get your 1 cup, so you draw your tea. So get your Cersei bush, you get some hot water, drop it in there when it's boiling, allow it to simmer, and you drink that. Our parents usually sweeten it just a little bit with honey or brown sugar. But either way, Cersei is good. You also have Senna or your king of the forest. That's another very good one.
Oh, I didn't
for your
know
washout.
that. King of the forest.
Senna has in a compound called senoside. And that senoside, it basically irritates the digestive system, going all the way down, causing peristalsis and breaking down what exactly is peristalsis. Every time you chew and you swallow, the food is being pushed down a tube. And if you look at a hose when water is going through, the same concept happens. And the irritation causes it to push any remnants, built up food, any parasites that's building up out of our system. Yes.
Okay.
And
so that,
Doc, so we talk about giving washout to children. What about adults? Should we be taking it?
Yes, we should be taking it every couple of weeks, 4 to 6 weeks.
Every couple of weeks?
Yes, if you don't have a steady diet of having bitter herbs every week, every 2 weeks, at least do it once a month. Drink something bitter. Or just drink some bitters. Yes. Remember, the bitters are good for your liver too, Your liver go through a lot processing the food and the toxins, whether we ear spray or we put on chemicals on our skin or what we eat. So the liver has to break down all those toxins that enter. So it needs a little bitter substance to revitalize it.
The questions are already coming for you, Doc. Chris Mullings says, is neem bush good for a washout?
It's on my list. Neem is very good for a washout. Similar, you get your neem leaves. The neem leaves have a look similar to your June plum where it's pinnate. So you can pick one of those and make a cup of tea. Or you can get the neem tea bag. Neem I use as my go-to for any stomach ailments. If you have upset stomach, if you feel indigestion, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, drinking a cup of neem tea helps to settle the stomach and settle the digestive system. So it works very quick. You'd almost think it's a pharmaceutical, how quickly it gives that aid.
So when you take the washout, you must stay home then, but I go up on the road.
Make sure you have convenient stops because you will need to get rid of the waste out of the body.
Yeah.
You normally take it in the morning and relax at home or have your space. But yeah.
Marigold Weber and Patrick Rowe, they're asking about aloe vera. That's a Cinco Bible.
Yes, Cinco Bible is here on my list. I'll tick them off as it come in. So with your Cinco Bible or your aloe vera, it has that compound aloe that is found in there. That's the laxative. Now, in the Cinco Bible, where you find the aloe is that green part. So when you cut the aloe, you realize there's that slimy part that drips. Yes. That is your laxative. That is the part that gives you the washout.
So that is the part you must drink.
That's the part you must drink. So once you have the green part in your juice, then that's the laxative.
Hold on. The green part is this outer skin. That's
the skin. Yeah.
Okay. So what do we do with the clear part, which I thought was the...
Blend up everything.
Oh.
But you want the nutrients as well, right?
Okay.
The nutrients in the clear part and the natural enzymes. So you'd blend up everything. I have a video on Instagram showing you how to make that laxative drink with your aloe vera.
Can we add a little bit of a sweetener, like some honey?
Yes, you can.
Oh, good, because it's really bitter.
Juice.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay, you can. Okay.
So let me ask, the aloe vera drink that is sold now in the supermarket, not a good substitute?
You don't want it as a washout.
Oh.
You want it as a refresher, as a better or a healthy alternative to some of the other refined drinks that are on the market. But the fresher you have it from the plant, the more enzymes you have available to help with your digestive system.
Oh.
But everyone's formulation is different, so we have some good ones on the market.
Melissa Williams is asking about okra.
Good.
And ticking that up too. Okra is one of those plants. Very good for, Jamaicans, we love spicy food. But sometimes it's a little bit too spicy. And then we feel the effects in our stomach or when we're going to the washroom afterwards. Okra is one of the plant that you can either just wash it and just eat it raw, or you can cut it up, put it in a glass of water and drink that water. It's high in fiber and high in mucilage, and it helps to flush the system as well. So okra is a good alternative. It's quick to find, and it tastes good raw.
So hold on. So I tend to have it with my codfish, saltfish, or my fish when I steam a fish. Yeah, is it as potent? It's not as potent then.
It's not going to give you the laxative effect. You still have your fiber, you still have your vitamins and your mucilage, you still have that. But when you want to have that relief in terms of laxative effect or soothing the digestive system, or if you have ulcer and it's burning, you get the okra water or eat the okra raw.
Oh.
You get more in terms of the
Never
healing
thought
properties.
of eating it raw.
Oh. Tastes good.
Marigold Weber says she prefers it raw. The okra sound like I can deal with that other than the aloe vera and them something there.
With aloe vera, it's already with the neem. So that's one of the, if we have clients with extreme cases of upset stomach or digestive issues, blending like neem and okra water overnight, that's a very good blend to help.
The neem and okra?
Oh, that's one specialty. Yeah. So I give that, different dosing based on the person, the individual, but so it's very effective.
How you prepare that, Doc? The neem and the okra.
You make the neem tea, and then you slice the okra and you put it in there, leave that overnight, and you drink that in the morning.
Oh.
First thing.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody's asking about susumba.
Yes. Susumba.
And saltfish.
Right?
My granny like that. I don't like it though. Bitter. My granny like it, but I don't like that.
Susumba is one of those foods that I could only eat it with saltfish or again saltfish.
Yes.
Because of the bitter taste.
Is that the thing that the Haitians say run duppy?
Yes.
And they wonder how Jamaicans eat it?
And it's poisonous.
And it's poisonous. Yes. That's why they're afraid of it.
The ackee and the susumba, right?
Okay.
Combined as part of a dish.
Yes.
It does have that effect again because of the bitterness, the bitter properties. Good for the liver and helps to cleanse the digestive system.
So then is it fair to say, Doc, that any herb that's bitter has some kind of property that can aid in washout?
Yes. It helps to detox the liver and it helps to clear parasites out of the system.
Yeah.
So that's why we need it as often as possible.
All right. Melvin Brown is asking you, Doc, if he can use the aloe vera to make a smoothie.
Yes, persons have done that. Add it to their smoothie. Now, if you want it as just nature's yogurt, I'll call it. That's the inside part. And as I mentioned before in some weeks, when you're making the yogurt version,
yes,
you scrape the middle part or peel off the green part, rinse that gel portion, and then you just add it to your smoothie. Right? So that's a natural blend. For the laxative, you keep the green portion on it and the dripping liquid.
Okay. Philip Jackson, Doc, a lot of comments coming in. He's asking about prune juice. Is that good?
Amazing. And it's so good and accessible, especially for babies. You know, a lot of time our babies get constipated and they're just crying. Prune juice is one that helps to loosen the bowel because of its high fiber. And it also has a lot of the mucilage. So it's not bitter, but high fiber and those compounds that help to promote digestive release.
What about plain old raisin brand cereal, says Moy?
Raisin bran cereal has high fiber and the raisin. But I wouldn't call it a laxative. I would say it's a good source of fiber that you should have in your diet. So that was the other portion we want to talk about. After you do the washout, you want to ensure that your diet is healthy. Fiber and water should be in every meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You should look on your plate and say, this is my fiber. And yes, I drink some water. I'm having some soup or some porridge.
Yeah. Here's going back to prunes for a moment, Doc. The prune itself, where you just eat it. Yeah?
Yes.
How is that?
It's amazing, just as good. Just as good.
Oh.
So you can just have the prunes or your dates.
Yes.
Dates are good as well, and you just have them and eat them. You can add them to your smoothie. They're very good as natural sweeteners. Use them to make cookies as well. So you get that fiber health property of the dates and your prunes.
But if you're a diabetic, you shouldn't have too much of the prunes.
Not too many.
Right. That's what I discovered.
Because it's high sugar. But I think it's based on its glycemic index. Should be about medium, but we can look at that. So you know it's a small quantities of those food you'd have to get the benefits, but not to cause a spike.
Yeah. Think Tank has some security advice for the Jamaican soldiers headed to Haiti. Walk with some susumba. 15 minutes after 7, it's Nature's Remedies. Who do we have online? Levy, good evening.
Good evening all.
Good evening, Levy.
Good evening.
Doc, I remember the mojo herb where my mother used to give us to wash out. They come in a little pack, like a little cardboard pack looking thing. That thing did bitter when school I look for mama call you.
Yes.
As they come for your wash out, and you get the inner milk cup with the some chashy left in the bottom. That's good.
Yes, that is it. Combination of the senna and the devil's whip and so on.
It come like one run of a yard, man. That's something that it tastes body.
Yes.
The big cup you get in a cliff, you know, the big enamel cup, you have to drink it.
And you hit the nail on the head in the enamel cup.
Yes.
Me used to dash it away.
Yes.
In the back door, right?
Yeah, but me not think people give them children. Well, you know, my children them something there. Well, they're not going to drink it, so. Yeah, but the next thing I want to ask, there's a bush named chamber bitter. Right. And that bush is good for remove kidney stone or gallstone, like I hear that. Do you know about it?
The bitters?
Yeah, like in chamber bitter, the bush, like it grows with some seed under the leaf. Like I think we call it seed under leaf too. Some people call it that.
Yeah.
Right.
So stone breaker, stone crusher.
Right.
It's good to help.
Good for removing kidney stone?
Yeah.
It's
very good. You can have it as tea bag and the capsules. So the work has gone in to prove that it really works. So it's available if you don't have the tree or the plant in your backyard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I have a lot of it in my backyard. It's just on them if I have jobs. So you use it as tea, as tea?
Yeah.
Dried? Okay.
You can use it as tea or dry it and can make some little balls with honey and so on.
Okay, yeah, man, I have one. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's what I didn't want to know because I heard people saying it, but you have to get it from the professional like you. Sure, you know?
All right, Levy. Thank you for the call, Levy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Have a good one. All right, Doc. Anthea Long is asking you about the mojo weed.
Mojo weed?
Mojo. I don't know what that is.
I'd have to look.
Cliff look like him know what is the mojo weed. What is that, Doc?
I have my own natural mojo.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I'd have to look up what is the mojo weed. I don't know that common name.
Oh, okay.
Go down your list. Continue down your list, Doc.
Yeah, so Moringa. I tell you, Moringa, that tree always has a part of it that is, yes. So for Moringa, the part that gives us the laxative benefit is the seed. So the seed, if you remember how the Moringa tree looks, you have the really long pods, you open it, you see the leaves with the little fans on it. We're together with the Moringa seed.
Mm-hmm.
Then you break that open, you see some little white seeds, and they look like pills. Again, there's a video on Instagram that shows how you can take your Moringa seed. So it's very good in lowering the blood sugar level when you take 1 to 3. For the laxative effect, if you go 4 to 6, you can have a laxative effect with you just drink it with some water. I've known persons who take 3 and they have a washout, just adding 3 to